live. Alright. How's that? Okay, quick volume test. It's me talking over the chorus loud enough. It's me talking over. Nope, not even a little bit. Here's me trying again. How's this? Here's me trying again. How's this? Still a bit much. Here's me attempting again. How's this? A bit much. Here's me attempting again. How's this? A bit much. That's probably fine. There. I'm done now. I'm done now. So yeah. Today I'm gonna today I was very bored and kind of in a bad mood, so I thought best way to cheer myself up, talk about myself, of course. I may have chosen a bad song for that though, because I hate this song. So yeah. But it's yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Who's excited? Put your hand up if you're excited. I know there's no one here yet, so that's a silly thing to say. So I suppose first I'll get into, you know, sound design, then I'll get into structure, and I will be ignoring the vocals because I hate the Hi Mimikyu and Pikachu. Well, that's just a bit weird. Yeah, you're just Pikachu, but like with a different name. Okay. Cool. Hi. If you like nerdy music talk, then you're in the right place. Okay. Let's start with this big ol' synth thingy, synth group. Alright, this is what we've got. This is 3 synths. We'll start with this one. I'll turn off all the effects. There are some in here too. And here as well, which I won't turn off. So here's how it sounded like before. What this is a saw wave, a sine wave, and then another saw wave up 2 octaves from the previous, and the sine waves there sandwiched in the middle. Every time the note hits, you can see this lower saw wave is getting detuned a little bit by this, is it? No, it's this one. You can see that. And this one's just detuned a little bit all the time. We've also got this, which is on one of the effects here. Okay, first effect we've got. Hope I haven't missed anything already. I feel like I'm moving too fast. First effect, a compressor. It's just taking a little bit off of the higher, like louder bits of the sound. That's, you know, general compressor stuff. It's multi-band too, so I guess it's doing it a bit more on the low end and the high end, and less on the middle. Got a pit crush. I have no idea what pit crushes actually do, but that's that. We've got this EQ, which has a high shelf, which moves downwards with every note hit, but it also is slightly affected by this, just to make it get a bit of randomness, I suppose. Yeah. So this goes like wah 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 wah. I'm sure you can tell without me doing the thing. It just lets it punch through a little bit and then get dragged backwards. We've got a bit of flanger, which doesn't seem to be doing anything. I don't know what flanger does anyway, so let's not worry about that. And reverb, good old reverb. I'm sure you know what reverb is. Now all these, oh I see. These are, all of these oscillators, all these synths start at an octave higher. Or, not quite an octave actually, but a little bit. They just start a little bit higher and get dragged down really quickly by this. Here's what that would sound like without it. Yeah, it gives it a little bit of a pew, like a laser beam. We've also got this. All this is doing is layering an octave underneath it. We've got a sidechain. This just means every time it's basically just a compressor, except instead of reading its own output, it's reading the output of the kick and reducing its own volume based on that. We've got OTT, good old OTT. Again, just another multi-band compressor. This one's just a bit over the top, hence the name. And then this one, which has two things. We've got a high pass, because, well, the lower frequencies just don't fit the sound I wanted, and this 1K, because human talking range is around there, and I wanted to make sure the news broadcast that plays here is audible properly, so I just cut this out. Also, it just doesn't sound very nice. And we've got actually a tiny little bit of high shelf here, just taking out the super highs, the ear piercing stuff. We've got a stereo widener. If you've got headphones on, you can hear what that's doing. It just spreads out to your ears and less in the middle. And then, just for good measure, a high pass. A high shelf, I mean. And this will come off in later parts of the song, like here. Okay, next synth. Okay, we've got this incredibly low saw. An even lower sine wave, because sine waves have a lot more bassiness in them than saw waves, so you can stack that underneath it to make it a proper bassy sound. And just a higher pitched saw wave, just like I did before. We've also got, yeah, the same. It's a lot less noticeable on this one. You could definitely go without it, but we've got the pitch altering. We've just got some compression there. Sidechain again. This EQ just absolutely erasing everything that's high and just making sure it's only the low stuff, because this is meant to be a bass, and it's not very bassy if it's not only the lows. This OTT, which is doing very little, but it's a nice little change. And then a second compressor, because I accidentally added a second compressor and it sounded good, so it's the exact same effect as if I had just turned this one up a bit. And I don't think there's anything special going on there. And then we've got this. This is a low-pitched saw, a higher-pitched sine wave, that it has glide. So every time a new note hits it, it changes like pitch to it instead of just snapping. Then we've got compressor. You'll see that on literally everything. I might just stop mentioning it. Bit crush. This same EQ trick where it closes in after a second. In fact, even have the exact same curve here. So I suppose I copy pasted it. Flanger, which is actually doing something this time. Still don't know exactly what it is doing though, so I won't comment. And reverb. Next we have just EQ. Didn't like the highs, didn't like the lows, did that. We've got this stereo widener which widens it as it goes, so it gets, so by the end it sounds like this. Oh, that's not helpful. But at the start it was more like this. Again, subtle, maybe not necessary. We've got this same vocal cut that I put on the other one. Just makes it a lot easier to hear the vocals. And then we've got this EQ which, if I remember correctly, despite its name, it's just, yeah, it never turns off. So I suppose I had plans for that at some point. But yeah, again, I just didn't like that frequency, and can you blame me? It's quite a shitty frequency, isn't it? And that's the first bit. Then we go here. We've got, you know, basically the same stuff as before, except now we have this one added. Now, this one I do not remember anything about, so we've got this effect, which is, you know, messing with the waveform in some way. I couldn't tell you exactly what that's doing, but it's got that same, like, effect of it just being different at the start and then, you know, changing quickly just to give it more punch. And again, this is just 2 saw waves. A compressor. And here's an interesting effect. What would this be like without this? Yeah, I mean, I guess I must have just tried something random and it worked, because I just kind of put a dip here, and made it just move around with the note hits. We've also got this trick again, as you can see there. Again, barely noticeable on this one. Next we've got sidechain, of course. Now, this is kind of an effect you can put on a lot of things, where you cut a lot of the lows, cut a lot of the highs, and boost the high mids, although this time I kind of just boosted all of them. But it kind of just gives it a stereo effect, it's nice. OGT again, barely doing anything, and another sidechain compressor. Now we go here. This is the bass synth, just playing long notes, nothing there. And then this new synth, which sounds awfully familiar. You know, I feel like this is just that one, but with a high pass filter. What's that about? In fact, they sound basically identical. I'm not going through that. And then we get to the chorus. The one new instrument we have here, and the last one in the synth category is. Wow, this has a lot on it. Okay, to start, it's just 3 saw waves on different things. They also have this they have this detune trick I showed at the start. That's nice, that's nice. Yep, completely different sound with versus without. Then we have chorus. I think what chorus does is, as indicated here, it kind of just makes a bunch of like detuned duplicates of the sound and moves them through your ears, I guess. Compressor. This compressor is doing something weird. I mean, it's just a regular compressor. I guess the way it interacts with the chorus is weird. It sounds nice. I don't know. Delay, which is just echo. A little bit of sidefold distortion, whatever that means. Now here what we have is a filter, a high pass filter, going forwards every hit and up. So as it goes down, it does this. So it creates a little bit of a spike, a little wah wah, as you might call it. And then flanger not doing anything. I don't know what it's there for. I can't hear a difference. Oh, I see. It's yeah, it's going on beat here like some of the other stuff. Next we have a gate. So after a certain volume point, it just cuts off. Anything below a certain volume cuts off. This is absolutely destroying the sound. I'm not even gonna get into whatever I did here. This stereo widener, I mean, it certainly ain't widening anything, is it? I don't know, that's weird. And then we have Flux Mini 2, which is like a fake sidechain. I'm not sure why I used this instead of regular sidechain, but yeah, basically just every beat it goes up and down volume. Okay, and last thing about synths is that they've got a few filters over the whole thing. So, first, I'll get to this one in a second, but this one is cutting out this frequency. It's a nasty frequency, which you can find in a lot of synths, and you gotta filter it out if you can. It's around 4K every time. It's gross. And then we've got OTT, the separate plugin, and not the Ableton preset here. It's just really, really like tuned down. Then we've got this spread filter. When does this turn off? Never. It's just always on. Oh wait. Oh, oops. Past me fucked that one up. Okay. Hi, Briar. So basically, I guess what this is doing is when it's active, it takes the sides and it boosts the highs and cuts the lows and does kind of the inverse on the mids. Well, no, that's not quite right, but I don't know. Does this? I don't know. You can look at it and see. Basically, this just makes it wider because the sides are louder, and also it cuts out the lows because the lows on the sides are bad. You don't want those. Cool. Chords. Here. This is a plugin I don't know very well. I just used a preset called Cheese Orchestra, I suppose. That's a weird preset. It's got some reverb on it, as if it didn't have enough already, and a mid cut and a high boost. Then we've got choir. This has a lot of effects. Holy moly, that has a lot of effects on it. This is what it sounded like before. Yeah. Okay, this is the Sonatina Orchestra Choir. And it's got Valhalla Supermassive, reverb and delay plugin. Cutting out the 4K frequency, more so just to make it feel tinny rather than because it sounded super bad here. We've got this saturation plugin, which in retrospect is kind of just making it louder and not really saturated, but that's fine. Then we've got a limiter. That's messing up the sound a little bit. You can hear the difference there. Mid cut, low shelf, and high shelf going upwards. This same, I guess I copy pasted this from this. So that's that. And oh, and another 4K cut. Oops, I guess I didn't mean to do that. Stereo widen, which seems like it makes this pointless, but who am I to say? And sidechain. Okay, then there's drums. See, the drums aren't very interesting because they're just... Okay, so this is just... Ah, shit, what's it called? Let me look it up. Okay, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's from like the Arena Battery drum kit or something like that. Same goes for the snare. Although it does have this EQ on it, which in some sections lowers the highs and in some ups the highs. This just gets rid of some of the lows. You can kind of hear those. They're pretty bad sounding, so yeah. Okay, and then there's these, which I monoed them, and then widened them, and then boosted the highs. I can't tell you exactly why I did that, but I'm sure I had my reasons. Here's some sweeps. This, I believe, is gonna be, yep, the MT Crash, as in I sampled the crash from the MT Power Drum Kit too, and I use this in all my songs now. We've also got ABK Sweep Down, which I got from Splice. Here we have the MT Crash going backwards, and then we've got Ghost Hack X Sub Drop, which I think is free. I think Ghost Hack is a free sample set. And I got this sub drop from it. You won't be able to hear that if you don't have headphones, though. I think that might be it for sound design. I think that's all the sounds designed. Okay, and then we're on to arrangement. So first we've got these playing C and then E up an octave, and then they move up to E, G up an octave, and F, A flat up an octave, because it's like, if you imagine a chord progression, we've got C, and then we've got E flat, F, right, and then the A flat is the middle note of that chord, right? So I was just following an imaginary chord progression with this, and that's going to be a trend because here, this is doing an arpeggio up those same invisible chords, right? So it's just going it's just going up and down the chord, the notes of the chord, And same goes for this one. And all through this, we've got these kicks. Oh yeah, it starts with the kick reversed. And then just kick, kick, kick. We've got a sweep into it, which is just the anti-crash and the ABK. Then we sweep out. And we have one quick bit with nothing in it. Otherwise it would sound more like this. Or no, actually, because this actually isn't a silent part, it's just that this part starts a bit late, so not quite what I thought. We have, so this melody, I may have, no. Okay, I just made some shit up. Like, I don't think I use C as the bass, like I return to it like really frequently. And I use a structure which is just this same thing repeated 3 times and then something different the 4th time. And then repeat it 3 times again and then something different again here. And then here, everything cuts out at the last beat. And the first beat of the chorus, or the verse second half, is also cut out. This whole section also has a low pass filter over it. We use this reverse kick again here. You can't really hear it, I'm not really sure why. We do this thing here where it just cuts out a bunch. Now we're into the pre-chorus. This is chords. These chords are really fucking weird. Let's see what I can see about them. So this is a C minor chord with the top note moved down an octave and the root note moved down an octave. So it's basically just played on 2 different octaves, just with the middle note removed on the bottom one, whatever. This one is, what chord is this? This is an E flat chord with the root note moved up an octave and also the middle note moved up an octave, or doubled up an octave. And then we've also got this one moved down, doubled down an octave. God, I don't know how I did this. There's just so much weird shit happening with these chords. I'm not going to explain the rest, but I will mention that this is off key, and that's because this is a major chord instead of a minor chord. See, that just sounds lame. So I decided to end it with a major chord, where you just move the middle note of the chord up a note, up a semitone, regardless of the key. Well, unless it was already a major chord, in which case don't do that. These notes, I assume, are just notes in the chord that are playing. We've got this same thing from the bridge playing, and this is just the root note of the chord going down. Now we've got the chorus. Okay, first of all, I believe, yeah, the first beat of the chorus is once again removed to, you know, give it a better drop. And this is, sorry to burst your bubble, but it's just the verse. It's almost the exact same thing, except with this phaser added. And I think there's something different going on. Yeah, there's also an effect which is boosting the lows in the verse, and that's not in the chorus. Halfway through it does this beat remove thing again. Also with a reverse kick, this one you can actually hear. Don't know what the distinction is there. Go back to the verse again. Second verse, chorus again. The Cyberpunk, is that like a song? I haven't heard of that. Now, here's a completely new section, the bridge. Again, nothing in particular I was thinking with this, except for staying on C a lot. And this is just... Then we've got this saw playing C up and down again. I added this chord progression, though nothing's actually following it, like even the alarm is still just playing C and ignoring the chord progression. Oh, you know what? I actually forgot to say where I got the hi-hats from. That just popped into my head. The problem is I don't know. It was probably spliced, so I suppose that was a pointless stopping. Now, this is almost the same thing, except we've got this new bass melody. There's not a lot special about it, except we have this same 1, 2, 1, 3 pattern, and also this is off key, as you can see. So we have this first section, then we have a new section, we have this first section again, then we have a new section. And now we go back into the pre-chorus, and then the chorus. And then, I'm pretty sure this is just the, this outro is just the chorus, but without the razor and with a low pass filter closing in on it, as you can see here. Cool. And last thing is the mastering, which is 2 things. This one, because nobody likes side lows. They sound atrocious, so we cut those down a little bit. Although it's better to cut them off at the source on the instruments rather than just slapping a band-aid on the master channel. Sometimes you just have to, though. Sometimes you just mess it up. And then OTT. Which, yeah, it's a multi-band compressor, just doing it a tiny bit. Really helps a little. Really helps a little is a silly sentence. Well, I think that's that. I think I'm done now. I think that's everything about the song. Let me think. Well, there's some effects on the news broadcast, but I can't do that because I don't have that file anymore. I don't have that, you know, sound file. I don't know. Go subscribe to Longest Solo Ever. I basically just stole Overthrown. Like, let me show you Overthrown right now. Like, the bridge especially. Tell me that isn't just... Yeah, I stole this whole goddamn song. I mean, like, this is their pre-chorus. This is Longest Solo Ever's pre-chorus. And This is mine. Yeah, so if you ever wondered how I got the inspiration to make this song, just know that I looked at Overthrown and said, okay, gimme. And closing note, listen to Reflection acoustic version. It is like the worst performing video on my channel to date, and I'm really happy with it, and it doesn't deserve this treatment.